Hey everybody, good morning. Felt like doing a reading today. A little reading for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine, of course. Hope everybody had a good full moon and a good weekend. Sorry, let me just get situated. Coffee. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, I woke up and I was like, let's just try and get this reading out. I kept getting a whole bunch of stuff from Spirit regarding the Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine, I heard them say the never-ending story, the runner, the chaser, dynamic, the empath, the narcissist dynamic. There's also those who are trying to keep the Divine Feminines and Divine Masculines separated from each other. It's a lot of bullshit, and I just want to get to the heart of it. I want to figure out what's going on, why it's taking so long for those of you who are waiting for your other person. Yeah, I just felt like, we kind of need to. I want answers, so I gotta be nosy, and I'm gonna find out. Let me make sure that the volume is good on here. Hopefully that's better. You guys can hear me better. All right, let's get going with this. Let's see what Spirit has to say, right? Let me see. Where is... Okay. Let me just get my lighter. I mean, while I do feel that the divines are on track, we're on track, we're doing what we're supposed to do, right? Probably keeping ourselves busy doing what we need to do. Because no matter what, the work is going to get done, regardless, on whether or not our divine counterpart is with us or not. So that's a good thing. There's no distractions, is what I'm saying. If anything, if you are still waiting on your person, oh, it's so good. If you are still waiting on your person, it's only because you're feeling that you need to still be, like, them coming into your life is going to be not, like, fulfill you in the sense where you're missing something in your life. That's not the case. It's not like they're going to compensate for what my divines feel like they're missing. That's not what I'm getting. It's more like they're only going to add to your life in some way, in a positive, loving way, right? But I just feel like there's all these other stories and all this other bullshit that is keeping the divines from coming together. And, I mean, you can't, everybody has free will. Everybody has to deal with their own karmic cycles. But this is basically for my singles. I mean, if you're in a couple situation, we'll bring that up only if it's a karmic situation. I'm not going to bring it up if you're in a divine situation. If you are, you already know things are going the way they're supposed to be going, and you're doing the work together. That's great, okay? Separately, but together, okay? That's what it's about. Or maybe even together, I don't know. Depends on what you're doing. All right, Spirit. These are my two favorite. This one for clarity. Collective reading from my divine feminines and divine masculines. What do they need to know? Okay, they want to talk about them separately at first, and then we're going to see what the story is together. Can we just... They're asking me to pull a card to get the kind of overall... You guys are fun. Sorry. They're asking me to pull a card to get the overall energies. Which one? This one? Okay. Alright. This is an old... Well, not old, but... Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. You guys probably know these guys. These are the love and relationship deck. It's cute. Let's just see. Not that I need to do this, but they want me to, so I never say no to my spirit guides. current energies for the divines. What do they need to know regarding their love relationship or their connection to each other? With the path opening up and the path going forward. Because they are showing me the path is opening up. So I'm seeing they're showing me... It's like one of those old metal gates that you normally see down south, where it's like, it's a big, huge gate, and then they open it, like they swing it open, and then the path is open to go to the farm or to wherever it is that you're going. It's like that kind of a thing. So I like that. I like that visual. Oh, that's too much, Spirit. Come on now. I just got communicate. So communicates. So there might be some kind of communication coming in finally for my singles, that if you guys have been waiting, because I think a lot of my divine feminines, and you guys, I'm just going to read it as I'm getting the information and it's coming in. A lot of my divine feminines know, yeah, they're waiting for their warrior. Look at that. A lot of my divine feminines know that they're expecting communication. You guys, you're giving me too many. It's sex. Sex. Yeah. Duality and the leader. So the problem, okay, there's no problem really. So with duality and the leader, I'm getting more, and I'm not going to read what the card says. There's no point. I don't need to. I never do that anyway. So I'm getting where it's like, because the divine feminine and the divine masculine are both strong in their own right. And I don't want to use terms like alpha. I mean, I guess we could, but we don't really need to. Because they're strong in their own right. It could be this false sense of, well, how are we going to make this work? If we're both headstrong and we're both take charge and no, because you're supposed to. You're supposed to do it together. So both of you are leaders and feeling like this is going to be the thing that's going to be the obstacle. That's not true. Sex is going to be off the charts, though. I can tell you that much. Because when you're with the divine, I mean, how could it not be? It's going to be... Or I'm getting... Okay. So Spirit's saying if it's someone from your past, because it could be someone from your past coming back, that the sex was incredible. Creates. So there's a risk taking a chance on your ability to create the kind of relationship you want. Have fun. Okay. So that's the thing. Someone needs to take the risk. Someone needs to say, you know what? I'm ready for this. I'm ready to create this life with my divine counterpart. And I'm ready to create... Because I think what's happening, either there's a fear or a blockage of this not working out. Because it's two strong-minded people, or it's two determined people, or it's two people that know exactly what they want in life, and they're feeling that might be the obstacle. And I gotta tell you, I don't really feel like it's the divine feminine as much as the divine masculine, because I feel like a divine feminine could flow with the energy, whereas a divine masculine might be like, I don't know if I could do this because they're so headstrong, or they know exactly what they want, and what if I can't give them what they want? There's too many questions on the divine masculine side, and we knew that was going to be the case, because not that they're behind. I hate using that word. I don't mean to use it that way. It's more like they need to figure out their shit. In other words, they need to work out their emotions, work through their feelings in order to just take that leap and start creating with the divine feminine. Romance. I think they know that this could be... Oh my God, these cards are ridiculous today. I think they know that this relationship could be everything they want. And so that's scary. I don't know about you guys, but it is kind of scary when you get everything you want within a relationship. So they know that there's going to be romance. They know that there's going to be honesty. They know that there's true love here. That there will be real love. And that the divine feminine is seeking that. The divine feminine wants real love. And they're going to be honest. They're going to be open. They're going to be truthful about what they want. And they're going to be respectful. They want to give and receive respect. And it should be based on respect. So that's what I'm getting. The divine feminine knows exactly. Yeah, they want a partnership. This is so funny. And then we got creates again. So we're going back full circle. Desire. There's a lot of desire between these two. And when these two come together, I love that we just got this card too. Manifest. So when these two divines come together, they can manifest amazingly on their own, but together, oh my God, it's like off the charts manifestation. I feel like, yeah, I think it's the divine masculine that needs to work on their self-esteem. I feel like either they're questioning whether they're good enough, they're questioning whether it's going to work. They're putting obstacles before they're even in the relationship, before they're even in the partnership. They're creating all this drama that's not non-existent. It hasn't even happened. How can you? Oh my God. That's the energy I've been getting, and it's been very frustrating because I'm just like, what is up with the divine masculine spirit? What is going on with them? And spirit's like, well, they're making, they're creating false blocks within their own mind about these connections with their divine counterparts. They know who the person is for them. They know that their divine feminine is the right person for them, but they're refusing to see it, or they're afraid to see it, or they'd rather deal with the karmic and just be with somebody that's not going to push them to be their excellent self. There's a lot of things. They're trying to keep my divines in the friend zone. Fuck you. Fucking friend zone. You can't put a divine feminine in the friend zone. She's going to be like, excuse me? No, I'm out. Thank you. Because she'll just wait for the next divine masculine. Communication is key. There's not enough communication between the two. That's what I'm getting. I feel like either the divine masculine's not saying anything, they're not saying how they feel, they're, yeah, see, this is where this is where it's getting annoying. And these cards are saying it perfectly. It's like a story. Yeah, the storyteller. They have this own story in their mind, the divine masculines, about the divine feminine. They're just like, well, they're high maintenance, or they want too much, or they expect too much, or they're gonna push me out of my comfort zone, or they're gonna want me to, what if, the grass is greener? What if there's someone better? Like, they're always looking for the next get, which is their biggest mistake, because you're standing in front of a divine feminine and you're judging a divine feminine. And we got judgment here. We got the judge. So they are judging the divine feminine, but the problem is they can't find anything. They're thinking, oh, the divine feminine's wearing a mask, and when I'm with them, I'm going to see the truth. All of a sudden it's going to fall, and then, they're not as perfect as they pretend to be. Not that the divine feminine's pretending to be perfect. They're just living their life, doing their thing. So, because of this dialogue, or this narrative that the divine masculine has in their head about the divine feminine, this story they keep perpetuating in their head, they're isolating themselves. They're in isolation. And so is the divine feminine, in a sense. I feel like the divine feminine is just like, well, I guess I'm just going to focus on me and my work, and that's going to propel me forward in a different direction, or that's going to lead me to another divine masculine, or to my divine masculine, because obviously there's a divine masculine here that's just not they're too busy judging, which I'm kind of shocked about. They're a bit in their ego, I feel. They're in their ego, and it's causing problems, and it's keeping things from going forward. The lover. They could have a choice to make, and the choice could be that they're with a karmic who's pretending to be a divine feminine, and they're not. And even though this divine masculine sees the red flags, and even though the divine masculine knows the truth, they're so afraid to take that leap of faith towards the divine feminine and shift their life, because sometimes people are afraid of success, love, happiness. I'm serious. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So with the jeweler and the lover, they could be thinking about, wow, I know my divine feminine wants union. I know my divine feminine wants, say, marriage. Maybe not. Not all divine feminines do. I want to be hand-fasted. It's kind of like a marriage, but it's not legal. I don't want to get married again. I wouldn't mind a nice piece of jewelry and a hand-fasting, but I definitely don't want to have a legal marriage, Just maybe a nice little party where we're all our friends and we exchange some spiritual vows saying, hey, man, I'm in this. Are you in it? Great. Let's do it. That's, So, there's some fear here. The leader again, duality, isolation. Okay, hold on. Transforms. I think if they're capable, they're worried about transforming their life. They're worried about transforming their life. They're afraid, but then we go back to the sex again. I'm sorry, but once you're with a divine your divine counterpart, the sex is off the charts. It's just, it is, because the energy is so amazing. So, let's keep, well, let me just see. The teacher, the nurturer. They know all this about their divine feminine. They know their divine feminine is a teacher, that the divine feminine is going to teach them. And with the nurturer card, they're also very loving and nurturing in that process. So I just feel like they know that this is going to be a great relationship, but for some reason they and they see a future. Yeah, they see a future with their divine feminine, but they're, for some reason, they're afraid. Yeah, the actor shedding. With the actor card, it could be that they're acting like their life, if they are with a karmic, so they could be acting like their life with their karmic is wonderful. No, my karmic's great. She's amazing. My life with her is fantastic. We have our ups and downs like any relationship. They're making excuses for the karmic because they're not healed yet fully. They are divine masculines, but they're not fully healed because they're unwilling to let go and to take the risk and to see the truth. That sucks. All right, so we don't need these anymore. Let's keep going. So we have this now. Like I said, there's going to be multiple stories. Let's talk about this story first. So we have a divine masculine that's stuck in a karmic relationship. Out of, whether it's out of obligation, whether it's trickery. I feel like it's a mixture of a couple of things. I definitely feel like they're being tricked into thinking that their karmic is a true divine feminine. I mean, you can't really fake that, but apparently she's wearing such a good mask that I think he does see the red flags, but he's refusing to see it out of fear. Or maybe it's out of obligation. You know, if they're married with children, obviously he's obligated to stay for the kids. And that's, you know, I admire that. And that's great to do. But I do feel that, I mean, the jig is, my spirit guides just said the jig is up. The jig is up. In other words, like, they know that the karmic isn't who they are pretending to be. I also feel like some divine masculines feel bad for the karmic. Like, they're almost like, God, she's trying so hard to be a divine feminine, but all she's doing is trying to wear this false mask, copy the divine feminine, try to look like the divine feminine, try to steal the divine feminine's essence, energy, doing all these crazy spell work for like weight loss or beauty spells, or trying to steal the essence of the divine feminine and look like the divine feminine, even styling their hair like or dressing like them. You know, it's really weird. It's weird coveting energy, and the divine masculine sees this, and they're just like, God, you know, it's kind of psycho, but the fact that she's doing that for him, that's where his ego gets in the way, because he's like, well, she's doing all that for me, so obviously I got her. She's trainable. I can, even though he, you know, I don't think he's really being smart about it. He thinks that he's the puppeteer, I guess, in this scenario, but really it's her. It's the karmic that's controlling him. He's not going anywhere. So it's really strange. This story is strange between these two. I do feel that, obviously a karmic is never going to be a divine feminine, no matter how hard she tries, because she's blocked by so many other things and lower vibing. So there's no, unless she's doing the healing work, unless she's doing the work that is necessary for her to reach that spiritual level, which she isn't, because I feel like she wants to get right to it. You know, you can't just get right to it. You have to do the healing. You have to do the shadow work. You have to do the spiritual work. All that stuff. So she just wants to skip all that and be like, no, I'm just divine. That's me. Look at me. Look what I do. I have all the stuff. And I wear the right stuff, and I have my hair this way and that way, and I have money, and I have this. You know, it's all about the things I have, but it's not, there's nothing here. You know, it's the light isn't ignited, the soul isn't on fire, the spirit doesn't, it's just different. The energy cannot match this divine feminine that she's trying to impersonate or be. And so the divine masculine sees that, but it's almost like he's entertaining her or making her feel like, God, she's trying so hard. He almost pities her. And so he stays thinking maybe she will elevate to this. And so the cycle repeats. It's like a vicious cycle. Then she shows her shit. This karmic shows her shit, shows who she really is. The divine masculine sits, walks away, is depressed, not getting the energy that he had gotten from the divine feminine, and seeing that and saying, comparing the two energies, you can't. It's like comparing, you just can't. You can't compare the energies. It's completely different. So, and that's the justification of it. And so the cycle begins again. So he's trying to justify why he's with this karmic, and he's trying to put the divine aside, but yet he thinks about the divine constantly. And I think the karmic knows this. The karmic is fully aware that he is smitten kitten with the divine. Probably the best connection he ever had, probably the best sex he ever had, probably the most loving energy he ever had. This person might have been, in his mind, tough on him, but really it was a teacher-student dynamic where the divine feminine saying, you know, hey, you could be doing this, you're so good at that, and pushing him a little bit, but not to the point where it would judge or hurt him. She was just trying to help. And so I think what the divine masculine is feeling is that with the karmic, he doesn't get that. She's more than willing to let him stay where he is. She doesn't want him getting better. She doesn't want him going anywhere. Stay where you are. I want you to be my little lapdog. I want you to stay where you are. If you grow and you learn and you see through my narcissistic tendencies and my mask and, you know, what I've been doing to you to keep you to stay with me, all the guilt trips, all the lies, whatever they said to keep them, and I'm sure it's been plenty, the divine masculine's just like, and he knows it. That's what's pissing me off. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. So this whole dynamic is just very strange to me. I don't understand why a divine masculine would sit and take this bullshit, except for the fact that he is afraid to glow up with his divine feminine and live his best life. I don't see how that's possible, but that's okay. Yeah, this karmic's a real winner, man. I wouldn't even doubt it if, you know, they pretended to be pregnant at one time and then, oh, I lost the baby. Anything to make them stay. I wouldn't be surprised if they used, like, the family or some kind of gossip against their divine masculine. Like, this karmic is, there's no, it's like the lowest of the low. Like, they're willing to go as low as possible to keep them chained and tied to them. It's really gross behavior, but the divine masculine puts up with it. I do feel like sometimes the DM might, I'm going to start saying DM because saying divine masculine is getting a little much. I do feel like the DM could sometimes delve into like drink or like some kind of addiction to escape, you know, anything to just kind of deal with the fact that he knows that he's living this life with this karmic. He knows that he's supposed to leave. He knows that he has this beautiful divine feminine waiting for him. Not really waiting for him, but hoping, I think. He may at this point even think that DF is going to reject him because he's waited too long. He's waited too long to take the leap. So the divine feminine is not really waiting for anybody. Like I said, the divine feminine's working on themselves still. I mean, that's a constant evolution where we constantly work on ourselves. We're constantly growing, thriving, teaching. We're also a student. You know, we're just very happy doing that and living in our purpose and our authenticity. If you're not going to be living in your authenticity and you're going to allow a karmic to override your judgment so much so that you're not doing anything to propel a connection with your divine feminine forward, they're just going to move on and they're going to wait for the next divine masculine. So, and I think the divine masculine who is with the karmic knows this. I think they realize that if I keep waiting any longer, I'm going to lose my divine feminine and I need to do something. So we're at that point right now where I kind of feel like the divine masculine is ready to take the leap, but they got to make that choice. Some may feel like it's too late, so they're going to stay where they're staying. They're just going to stay. Ugh. I feel icky in that energy, though, because it's like such a shame. Yeah, they're going to still, I guess, live their purpose, but if they had their divine feminine by their side, it would be the ultimate power couple. And I'm not talking about material things, you guys. It's not about that. I'm talking about the energy exchange, the manifestation that they'll do together, the healing that they'll bring to the world just by their being together and their energy alone. Because that love is just so transcendent. You cannot compare it to a karmic relationship. You're not going to transcend with a karmic. They're going to anchor you down. They don't want you to transcend. They want you to stay like a puppy dog chained to a leash. There's no real support in growing or evolving or shifting spiritually. They don't want that. It sucks. And the divine masculine is more than willing to put up with it because they're afraid of it themselves. So until the divine masculine gets over that fear, until they're able to release this karmic and release the material attachments they have with the karmic, because I do feel like that's there as well. There's something about stability and financial or money. And I mean, the divine feminines, they, yes, don't get us wrong. We care about those things as well. We love stability and we want to be financially secure, but it's not the all important thing. Really, what's important to them is being in an energy of grace, being in love, and propelling that forward so that you're building a firm foundation based on that, not so much on greed, ego, lies, manipulation. I mean, the karmic is the master manipulator. And the funny thing is, well, they think they are. They think they're masters at it. But the thing is, the divine masculine sees through it, and the divine feminine knows what they're doing. You know, we don't need to be even, it's not even like the DMs, I mean, the divine feminines are even a part of that world. They're not. But of course, because they're elevated in spirit, I mean, whether they're psychic, whether they're readers, whether they're empaths, intuitives, whatever the case may be, they just know. They know that there's this karmic or this karmic energy that is constantly coveting them, copying them, trying to be like them, cursing them, putting spells on them, possibly even hiring people to put spells on them. They know all this. But the divine feminines aren't, you know, they don't give a shit because they know their energy's up here and the karmics are down here and they can't affect them. So it's just, it's almost laughable for the divine feminine, but the divine feminine cares about her DM and is worried, like almost like knowing that they're stuck, knowing that they're trapped. Whereas the divine feminine escaped her trap long ago. So there's nothing that we could do about it as divine feminines. We have to just, not that we're even sitting there watching the shit show. They're in it. Let them be in it because we're not going back there. If they're willing to leave and heal themselves and grow with us, then we're more than welcome. We're accepting of the divine masculine coming in. But if they're going to stay stuck with the karmic, we're not touching it. Good luck with that. We'll wait for the next divine masculine. So that's one story. And I mean, this divine masculine is kind of clueless a little bit, or they're pretending to be clueless. Because I kind of feel like they know, but they're not doing anything about it. Like, they know this karmic is doing spell work. They know this karmic is jealous of the divine feminine. They know that it's almost like they like it because it's gross, really. It's almost like they like it because it's, even though it's negative in its nature, it's still attention. I think the divine masculine likes the fact that their karmic is obsessed with them. And that's not good. Because that kind of doesn't really make them a divine masculine now, doesn't it? So that kind of keeps them on the precipice. Maybe they want to be back with the karmic because they don't want to grow and evolve. I don't know. But for some reason, I think it's because they dig the fact that their karmic is obsessed. Better be careful with that energy. Because an obsessed karmic is not good. Haven't you ever seen Snapped? Or ID Discovery? Or, there's some other one that I used to watch. Oh, God, what was it? Obsessed is another one. You got these stalkers that are obsessed. I mean, not only is the karmic obsessed with the divine masculine, they're obsessed with the divine feminine. Watching them, doing background checks, trying to find dirt on them, trying to bring them down, doing anything possible to rip on their character. Like, look, this is what she is. This is what you think she's so great and she's not. And it's like, they can't find shit. They can't, and even if they could, it's probably something like from when you guys were like teenagers and shit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? So it's kind of ridiculous what they're trying to do. They're just trying to make the DFs look bad so that the DM will stay with them. But the DM's staying anyway. The DM doesn't have the balls to leave. Not yet. I'm hoping that they will. But according to those cards, they're just afraid because they think that the Divine Feminine is going to challenge them too much. Or they have to keep up with the Divine Feminine. Yeah, guess what? You kind of have to. Just grab the mantle already. Don't be afraid. It's like, can you imagine you're in this race and you're this close to the finish line? Excuse me. But you decide to just kind of slow down because you're afraid to have the big win. Because, what does that mean? I'm going to be on TV, or people are going to be all over me, or, whatever the case may be. That's a stupid analogy. But I'm just saying, like, it's almost like they're so close to the finish line, but they'd rather waver and stay with the Karmic, and I don't know why. I'm just, like I said, I think it's just they like that negative attention, even though they like that they're obsessed with them, so it feeds their ego. I think maybe, Spirit just said, they don't know if the Divine Feminine is going to bow down to them the way the Karmic does, because the Divine Feminine is at their level, and so, or better, and so they may feel inadequate, or they may feel self-conscious, or their self-esteem isn't high enough to match the Divine Feminine. But the problem with that is once they're with the Divine Feminine, it will match. They're going to recalibrate, so to speak, because they just showed me their DNA just igniting, and they're like, whoa, is this what it feels like to be with a divine counterpart? This is freaking awesome. Like, there's no stress, there's no worry, there's someone that has my back, we're doing this together, it's not all on me to do, it's that kind of a vibe. And so I think that once the Divine Masculine gets his head out of his ass and stops dealing with this Karmic and realizes what it's going to be like with the Divine Feminine, he'll know, but he won't take that risk to find out. And the funny thing is, I think it's what makes me laugh is that he really believes that if I leave the Karmic and I go with the Divine Feminine, and not that he should do that anyway, because that's wrong. It's almost like he wants to test to see if it's the right decision. You can't do that. You can't be like, I'm going to leave the Karmic for a little bit and I'll spend time with the Divine Feminine just to see if they're the right person. It's almost like I can always go back to the Divine, I can always go back to the Karmic, that kind of a thing. Would the Karmic take them back? Absolutely. In a shot, the Karmic would take them back. The thing is, the Divine Feminine won't. So if they pull that little stunt, the Divine Feminine is going to be like, but I don't know if the Divine Feminine, the DF, would let that happen. Because their intuition's so on point. Their intuition's so on point that they're going to know if the Divine Masculine's playing those fuck games, You can't do that. And I think the Divine Masculine knows that they can't do that. So if they're making this choice, they have to make sure they're making it and they're going to stick with their choice, which is what you should do anyway. You make a choice, you stick with it. Okay? At least when it comes to a Divine Feminine, not when it comes to a Karmic. So that's that situation. All right, hold on. Because now they want to talk about the Divine Feminine. You want to talk about the Karmic first? Okay, they want to talk about the Karmic real quick. Ew. Why I gotta do this. And they want me to pull cards. And guess what cards they want me to pull? The Dark Mirror. Should I pull these guys? And what about the other ones? There's another set that I could do. Yeah, I think these would be better today. Instead of I always do the Dark Mirror. We're going to do Wisdom of the House of Night. So, let's pull cards on the Karmic. I don't know why we're doing this. Well, we already know, but that's what they want me to do. Maybe for you guys. Alright, so Karmic energies currently. What's going on with the Karmic? What's going on with the Karmic energies, with the Divine Masculine, and this scenario we've been talking about. We're going to delve deep. I know we're already a half hour in, but I really wanted to do this because, well, number one, my spirit guides told me to, but also because I'm getting a lot of calls from my friends who are Divine Feminines, or clients that are Divine Feminines, and they're just like, what's going on? What's going on with the energy? I mean, I'm fine and I'm doing my work and it's all fine and good, but I keep feeling that they're supposed to come, but they're not coming. So I'm like, I know. And we're all feeling it. We're feeling like, where are they? Because they're supposed to be here, you know? And I did feel by the end of summer, I mean, look, we're still in July and we still have August. And it's not to say, oh, all of a sudden the Divine Masculine is going to come in on a white horse and be like, hey, I'm finally here. No, it's not that kind of energy. They're coming in very, what's the word? Like a little kid, tiptoeing. Is it safe? Can I, yeah? It's like that kind, like they're coming in a little fearful of my Divine Feminines. I think because they know they took too fucking long. So my DF is just like, oh, now you're here? About fucking time. What the hell? And they know that they're going to have to explain why it took so long for them to do this. So, hold on. And I it's just very childlike energy. Like, they don't want to take the responsibility of knowing that they screwed up and they waited too long. All right, let's talk about the Karmic, though. So what's the Karmic doing now? I already know what she's doing. Pain in the ass. That energy, man. It's just silly energy. Yeah, here we go. Tell me about the Karmic's energies right now. What they're doing to keep their masculine with them when they know that the masculine wants to leave. We always get fragment with them. Okay, let's start with this and then we'll read it like a story after that, because that's what they're telling me to do. So we got the fledgling. So this is a Karmic that's pretending they're innocent. I'm innocent. I've done nothing except love you, and I need you. I can't do this on my own. You're my, I just saw the warrior card. Yeah. You're my warrior. You're my king. That right now they're stroking their ego. That reminds me of a line from a movie. Halle Berry was in it. I forget the name of it. The Stranger, I think it's called. But there's a line where the blonde who's her friend before she kills her, ironically enough, the line she goes, stroke a man's dick, you get him for a night. Stroke a man's ego, you get him for life. So that's how this bitch is thinking. So she's just like, I'm gonna do everything possible to keep my Divine Masculine with me and keep him from going to the Divine Feminine. I don't care if I have to fragment my energy. And when I see this card, what I'm getting is that this Karmic is doing spell work that she knows nothing about. And so it's fucking her up. It's making her a little crazy. Look how crazy this bitch looks. Yeah, and she's wearing the false, she's wearing the mark of a priestess, but she's not a priestess. She thinks she is. I'm a witch, I'm a priestess, I do magic, I'm A, B, and C, I'm psychic, and it's all lies, it's all bullshit. She's pretending or trying to be like my Divine Feminines. I have the same powers, I have the same gifts. No, you don't. No, you don't. And it's funny because there's something, it's weird because I can't see what it is. So she's hiding something. She's got one more trick up her sleeve. There's something that she's hiding, either from the Divine Masculine or just even to herself, just saying, I know there's one other thing that I can do to keep him to me. It almost, it looks like she's there's a bird, but it doesn't look like it's alive. And the weird thing is, on her wrist, you'll see she has a little nest with 3 eggs in it. So this is, in her mind, this is a third-party situation. She's constantly battling this Divine Feminine that she knows that her masculine wants to go to. And so she needs to, it's almost like, when you wear your heart on your sleeve. In this case, she's wearing this on her sleeve, knowing that her warrior is in love with somebody else and that she's going to do whatever it takes to keep them apart. But in doing so, her own spirit, her own energy is fragmented. It's almost like on the precipice of death. So it's like she's draining herself. She'll do that. She'll drain herself, and then she'll build her energy back up to the best of her ability. But I don't feel like she's doing very well right now. I feel like it's almost making her a little crazy. Because with this mark on her forehead, and that's not how I do the crescent on my forehead, but that doesn't matter. But in this case, I'm almost hearing the word lunacy. So she's a lunatic. She's fucking crazy. Or it's making her crazy. And So she keeps saying to her divine masculine, you took an oath. You took an oath for better, for worse, that you were going to be here with me. You're mine. You're supposed to stay. You can't be going anywhere with anybody. And so she's wishing for this kind of renewed sense of, and I feel kind of bad for her. I really do. She's wishing for him to just let this divine feminine go and just be with her. It's weird because the minute I just saw this is kind of creepy, but there's two people at the edge of a well, and she's like hugging somebody, but I almost feel like she wants to push someone down that well. God, psycho! I'm telling you, we're dealing with someone crazy here. You know, and her, it's complicated, right? So in her mind, she's like, it's not complicated. I love you. You're meant to be with me. You're not meant to be with that other person. They're not who they say they are. They're wearing a false mask. Meanwhile, the Karmic's the one wearing the false mask. And the DM knows this. They know it. They absolutely do. They're fully aware. See, choices. He has a choice to make, and he knows. He knows what choice he has to make. Yep. Oh my God, I can't make this shit up. He has to choose the real high priestess. Now that's the high priestess. Now look at the difference between... And while the mark is the same, her mark is definitely more different than hers. So now if you look at the difference between the two. This is the true divine feminine. She's like, seriously, bitch, what are you doing? What are you doing with this? This fledgling, this false. Look at her face. She's just like she's almost dead. And this one's just like, bitch, please. You know, come on. Like she's fully aware. She knows exactly what's going on. And so it's almost like a look of not disgust, but it's more like, it looks a little judgy. It's more like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? What are you doing? Like, it's just, I love this card so much. Sexy bitch. There you go. That's the high priestess. So she knows. And the divine feminine knows. He's having a problem letting go. Now, either he's having a problem letting go of the karmic, or he's having a problem letting go of the divine feminine, or the karmic's having a problem letting go of him, which I think is the case. It could be a mixture of all three. But, you know, she's trying to pretend that she's being understanding about it. She's thinking, well, maybe if I'm more playful with him, he'll stay. And every moon she's doing her little spell work, because it's like, she's like, I'm going to get him with lust. That's how I'm going to keep him with me. I'll do whatever he wants. You know, the karmic will do whatever sexual deviant thing she needs to do to keep him. It could be, I keep getting air signs. And she thinks that by doing this, it'll keep him obedient. Yeah, it's either an air sign, and then this divine feminine is an earth sign, because we got, yeah, I got an air sign and earth sign here. But there's no way. Yeah, see, oh my God, I have no reversals except for this one. Movement is in reverse. He's not going anywhere, or at least she's keeping him to him in some way. Probably, yeah, forbidden, saying it's forbidden. You cannot be with that divine feminine. I forbid it. I forbid it. And so because of that, creating chaos, rigid. She is doing chaos magic, and with the rigid card, she could, I'm kind of getting, well, I'm not getting the word rigid so much as I'm getting, like, see that wall with the crow on top? It's almost like she's building up this wall of protection, but look at the wall, you know? It's like creepy. So it's like, and it's dark. And so between the chaos magic and then doing all this spell work, it's actually building a wall. I got it. I got it. Spirits just tell me. The wall represents her. She's encasing herself in her own tomb of fear, of anger, of resentment. With all the magic she's been doing, the wall is being built higher and higher to keep her from keeping these two from coming together. She's not going to be able to do it. Yeah, because spirit's going to get involved. High Priestess of Spirit. So, this karmic is trying. But I'm telling you right now, all they're doing with all this magic and chaos and lies and manipulations is building a wall around themselves, and therefore, once they're entombed in that energy, one of many things could happen. They could either lose their mind, lose their shit. They could. Oh, that's weird. I just saw like hair falling out. Maybe be like in extreme stress. All the things that they wanted to do to the divine feminine is coming back at them. It's happening already. At least that's, I've been saying that for the past couple of months. So anything that they've been trying to do to harm the divine feminine is hitting them back threefold. So, and again, I've said this before with the karmic. So if they want the divine feminine to gain weight, they're gaining weight. If they want the divine feminine to break out in hives, they're breaking out in hives. Hair's falling out. You know, all these bad things that they wanted for the DF. Because the divine feminine is not playing in their energy. Divine feminine has better things to do. They're not messing with spell. The only thing the divine feminine is probably doing is protection. And they don't even have to do that much. It's more just like, oh, just protect me from on high. There's these lower base energies that are doing stupid shit. Teach them a lesson, and it's done. It's really that simple. Because that's how powerful the DF is. Now, the karmic is freaking out. They're shaking in their boots because they're just like, what have I done? I sent out all this energy. It's not affecting them. Because they're watching. The karmic's watching my divine feminines. If you guys have a platform, or if you're doing something, say you're doing what I do, they're watching you. I mean, you guys, it's so easy to do. Like, people stalk people all the time. And with all these false names and, you know, whatever they're doing. So they're watching because they're trying to learn from the divine feminine. They're trying to copy the divine feminine. They're trying to do what the divine feminine does. You can't copy that. You just can't. You can't copy energy. You know? So I'm getting that this karmic is just like all of a sudden realizing, holy shit, all the stuff I did is not affecting them. They're doing just fine. And now what does that mean? Like, is it coming back at me? Yeah, it is, bitch. It's coming back. It's going to come back at you. Yes. Energy, you put the energy out there. It's got to go somewhere. So if it ain't hitting your target, because you probably had no reason to do that to begin with, if it ain't hitting your target, it's going to come back and hit you. Or it's going to cause chaos in your own life. But when I saw that brick wall, I was like, wow, because I saw the karmic inside, and then the wall is being built, but she's encasing herself. She's building her own tomb. She doesn't even realize it. I can't help the karmic anymore, man. You're on your own, bitch. You decided to do this, and I've warned you for almost 2 years now, probably longer. And you keep doing it. So I can't help you. You're going to have to help yourself out of that situation. They're getting hit hard. The divine masculine is finally going to hopefully wake up from whatever sleep he's been in. I mean, you know, I don't know why this even happens. For me, it's like, and you know what's so weird? Because they're showing me it's almost like a resurrection. Not to use a biblical term, but I will in this case. Because, you know, a lot of you don't know. But I've read all that. I've read the Bible. I know the Bible quite well, actually. Even if I'm not a Christian or a Catholic, you know, I grew up in a household of Catholics. So, and see, they're showing me like this resurrection where all these divine masculines are lifting up out of these kind of mock graves. Excuse me. And it's almost like they're a shadow of themselves. So what happened, and I always think of the colorless angel card. That's in the other deck, in the dark mirror deck. So it's almost like that karmic sucked the life out of them like a goddamn vampire. And now they're finally being, because the karmic has done all this spell work towards the divine feminine, now they're getting hit, and they're whatever little power they did have, if they had any, is being taken away. They got nothing. They're going to have nothing. That's what you do when you fuck around and find out. Okay? So that's what's happening. And now all of a sudden the divine masculine's like, whoa, what's been going on here? This is wrong. Does not feel right energetically. I'm out. And finally they set themselves free. Oh, the lucky few. Hopefully they do. Okay? Yeah, it's wake up time, bitches. Wake up time. All right, let's talk about the divine feminine now, and then we're going to end the reading soon. Let's pull some cards of the divine feminine. This is fun. You know, in this case, we're going to get a better deck for my divine feminines. Let's see what we got for those beautiful bitches. Which one, Spirit? We could do... No. Hold on. Oh, this one's good. I do like... Oh, no. Hang in, guys. Sorry. Just want to make sure I get the right one. Where is it? Ooh, you know what I should get? That would be perfect right now. Where is it? No, because I know I pulled it. Hang in there, guys. Just let me find it. Oh, there it is. It's right there. Dang it. Hold on. I gotta pull this. This is a cute little deck. It's one of my favorites. Good witch, bad witch. And ironically enough, when you play these cards, if you get this deck, it's a really cute deck. You should get it. It's definitely one you'd want to add to your repertoire. You know, sometimes the bad witch cards aren't bad, so it's cute how she did that. I like that. All right, for my Divine Feminines, regarding this whole situation, for my Divine Feminines, what are my Divine Feminines doing? And I'm going to love this because I know exactly what we're doing, but I just want to see if it confirms. Divine Feminine Spirit, what do my Divine Feminines need to know? Current energies for my Divine Feminines regarding this story, this never-ending story, which I feel like is going to be ending very soon. Very soon. Hang in there, Divines. You're going to be all right. You know, this is what happens when, you know, people mess around with energies they're not supposed to mess. You can't mess with destiny. You can't mess with what's charted for somebody. You just can't. And if you try, I just feel like the Karmics are just really in for a rude awakening. There's one. Let's see what we got. The Hedge Witch. I just saw the Earth Witch. There's definitely an Earth sign that's, or it could just be my Divine Feminines have a lot of Earth in their chart. It could be a DF that has a lot of Earth in her chart. Or it could just be that my Divine Feminines are so grounded right now that they're just really working on their business, their coin. Yeah. Let's just take a few more. Okay, we'll take those. Why not? Okay, let's do it this way. So we have a Divine Feminine who lives between the worlds with the Hedge Witch, okay? Very cute card. So this is a Divine Feminine that lives between the worlds. She delves into the light and the dark. She could be what they coin as a gray witch. But this is somebody who, you know, they'll do what they have to do to protect their loved ones, their friends, their families, their children, their pet, their home, their money, their business. They're going to do what they have to do. And they're not stupid. They know exactly when the dark energies start to perk up and when they're getting ready to do shit. So I do feel like my Divine Feminines are very protected, and they just have a way of walking that thin line, you know? Keep doing that, because that's exactly what that's about. They're also, see, I love the North Witch, because, you know, this energy is someone who is, I kind of get Queen of Swords energy with this. Not that we're talking about an air sign, we're talking about Divine Feminines, but I'm getting someone who is maybe seemingly cold, only because they cut off the dead weight. They've gotten rid of a lot of things that aren't serving their higher purpose. And so they could be isolated in a sense, but I feel like it's because they're working towards their divine purpose. And so sometimes, yeah, we're not going to let anything interrupt that process. We're not going to be taken off our path. I don't give a shit what the karmic tries to throw at us. It's not going to work, obviously, because I feel like the strength of this Divine Feminine is unwavering. There's nothing that anybody's going to do to steer them off their path. Yeah, and they work their magic too. You know, they're going to work their... And I do feel like when she's holding the spider, there's something about creation here. With the ghosts behind her, she's leaving the past behind. They're all ghosts to her now. She doesn't give a shit. Yeah, go fly away. Your energy has no purpose here. So she's very focused. This is someone who is in the process of creating, manifesting the life that she desires, and no one's going to stop her from doing that. Well, I mean, of course, the Halloween witch. I mean, there could be something significant about Halloween for my Divine Feminines that's coming up. It could be by October. And again, I'm seeing another spider and I'm seeing the crow. There's bats in the back as well. And then there's also another ghost. So, you know, I mean, all these symbols are beautiful because the bat is about, endings and beginnings, or renewal, and then the spider is creation. You know, these are all her totems, and she's protected. Pumpkins were created back in those times to protect from evil spirits, right? So she is somebody, and then look, you see this green. I mean, it's October, and still there's growth around her. No matter what she does, she, not only is she highly protected, not only does she know her magic, not only is she a prophet and, you know, a psychic, but she is someone that is creating and manifesting in such a way that it can't be stopped. So I love that. Go Divines. So, you know, the Divine knows, yeah, see, and when I see these two cards, the Divine knows that the Karmic has been wearing a false mask. You know, look at the mask, is so pretty, and then you look at this haggard face. So the Divine knows that the Karmic is working magic, or trying to. See, that's the Karmic, wearing a false mask, and then now she's tortured because she knows she fucked up. The Karmic has screwed up. And so the Divine's just like, well, I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, but now you're going to reap what you sowed. So it's really, I don't know. It's just confirmation of what I just said earlier about the Karmic. Yeah, this is great. So, and here we have, like, here's the Divine just like, oh, I'm celebrating. I'm having friends over. We're going to have some cake. And then there's her coven right behind her, supporting her, loving her. She's holding that cup of love, because even if she doesn't have her Divine Masculine right now, she loves herself enough, and she loves her friends and the people that do support her, and she has that support, and she knows it. So she's good. You guys are good. My Divine Feminines, you're good. I'm just gonna pull a couple of more. Yeah, there's love coming, because yeah, the ring around the moon witch means love. So while, you know, the Divine is just like, you know, I have my purpose. I'm going to do what I need to do. The broomstick witch, she's traveled. She's in flight. She's moving. She's going to keep moving. She's going to keep grooving. And the apple, you know, she is very in tune with her intelligence, her intellect. She wants to grow. She wants to learn. She has the apple of knowledge. She's wise. She's been through it. She already knows. And again, there's the spider of creation. She knows that she's creating a life of purpose and beauty. Look at all that around her. The sun is shining. Her hair is blowing in the wind. She's picking a beautiful apple. There's flowers in abundance. You know, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful card. And the ring around the moon witch is someone who, this is like wish fulfillment. So whatever my Divine Feminines are working on, your wish is going to come true, because you worked so hard to get there. And you deserve it. You deserve this happiness. Now, whether or not the Divine Masculine wakes up, yeah, the Heavenly Witch. You're reaching for the stars, baby. You got this. You're good. You guys are good. You're on the right track, so keep doing what you're doing. Do not worry about these stupid karmics. You don't have to. They're getting theirs. Trust me. They're getting theirs. They're going to get theirs. If they're not getting it now, they've been getting it. I'm not worried about it. And neither should you guys. Because I do feel like you're creating a life of purpose, and I do believe you're living your best life. And I do feel like there's a lot of jealousy about that from the Karmic or others, because they're not. You know? You took the risks. You decided right then and there, no, this is the life I want. This is how I'm going to create it. And maybe through other people's eyes, it's not what they want, but that's the whole beauty of it. The funny thing is, though, is that they made fun of it, right? They made fun of you probably. Every decision you ever made throughout your life, they're like, oh my God, you're going to do what? That's, yeah. And the whole time you're like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And you just stayed the course. You stayed true to your authenticity. You stayed true to yourself. And that, you know, now that you're reaching the stars and you're going up there, all of a sudden they're going to start coming out of the woodwork. All these past people, my Divine Feminines, they're going to be like, oh my God, how have you been? And you're just like, ksh, ksh, ksh. No, you have no right here. You have no purpose here. Move along. We're good. And it's not because you're a bitch. It's because when you were going through the worst part, when you were going through the shifts, when you were going through the dark nights of the soul, when you were going through your transformation and doing the healing and doing your shadow work, they weren't there. to support you. But the people who were your coven, right? Your people, your soul tribe, they were there. Those are the ones you're staying with. Those are the ones you're sticking with. Because you know. So my divine feminines, you guys are beautifully on track. I feel like anything that you're working on, any manifestation, any dream, any glow up, whether it's for your health, beauty, finances, living situation, love life is happening too. I don't want you guys to despair. If you want somebody, I'm on the fence about it because everything's going good. So I'm kind of like, well, if I invite someone into my world, are they gonna, be an anchor, or are they gonna be someone that's gonna do the work with me and we're gonna rise up together? I am not gonna waste my time, and I hope you guys won't either. I don't think there's any reason for us to do that because we're doing just fine. Okay, see, I knew it was the 14th, exclamation point, because the 12th was when we first hooked up. Period. See, passed. Anyway, so with that being said, I just feel like you guys are doing great. Love is going to come. So let's talk about love real quick. We're into an hour. So like I said, I feel like a lot of you are just loving yourselves. I do feel like there's someone that wants to come back, but I think they're afraid to. I think that they feel like they messed up or they screwed up. I do feel like it's someone from your past. I do feel like they need to apologize, but they're not going to, and they need to. I feel like they need to admit where they did wrong. And I think that they don't want to do that because of their ego. So you don't need that then. I'm not going to entertain anybody that's not going to own their shit. I own my shit. If I fuck up, I'm going to tell you I fucked up. And I'm going to apologize for it because I'm a fucking grown-ass woman. So if you're getting someone that's not going to do that, then just let them, they need to heal still, or they need to grow up, or they need to do something. Who cares? So that's why I always say don't entertain the past unless it's someone from your past that you did not ever really have any kind of issues with. Sorry, okay, they can wait. I'm sorry. Unless it's someone that you didn't really have any issues with, and you do feel like there's a possibility of working through, maybe getting to know each other again, that kind of thing, then that's fine. I'm all about that vibe. As long as they come correct, And I do feel, my divine feminines, you're so wise to the mess and the narcissistic behavior that if anybody does anything, you're just going to call them on their shit and then see what they say. And if they don't say the right thing, if they pile more bullshit on, you're just going to be like, you know what, we're good here. So, but I do feel that love is possible. I also feel like somehow it's connected to your divine work or the path that you're following. Like your divine work. They keep saying that. They're like, for some reason, you're going to meet them through your divine work. So whatever it is that you're working on, it might be someone that maybe they're interested in the same subject or they do something different. I had a friend who met her divine masculine because she is a reader and she did a psychic fair, and he had his own setup. It was a separate thing. He wasn't psychic. He was doing something else. Like he had things that he was selling, and that's how they met. So, you may not have the same thing that you're doing, which is good. I mean, who wants that? I wouldn't want my man to be a psychic. I think that would just, I don't know. I don't think I would want that. But although I feel like everybody has psychic ability, I wouldn't want someone that did the same work as me. But if it's in alignment with what you're doing in some way, that's what I feel is what Spirit's saying. It's in alignment with what you're doing in some way. Everybody who is single and really wants to meet their divine counterpart has to put the energy out there, though. I know right now a lot of you are distracted with your own business, your own work, and what you're doing. But when you're ready and you're just like, you know what, I'm totally ready. I'm going to go out. I'm going to, and I'm not saying bars and things like that because I don't think my divines, we're not into that. We're not doing that. It's more like I'm going to go to this meet and greet, or I'm going to go to this pottery class, or I'm going to go to this marketplace. You know, it's that kind of a stuff. You know, it's that kind of a thing. Yeah. And if you have kids too, you know, if you're a single parent and you have kids like me, well, I have one kid. If you have children, then you might go to like the playground, or take your kid to laser tag and you meet somebody. Who knows? All I know is that a lot of you want to stay in line with what it is that you're creating, and that whoever's entering your life is going to be in alignment with that. And that's probably why you haven't met your person yet, because it's not, the stars aren't aligning yet. And it will, I promise, it's gonna. If you really want it, it will. But you do have to get out there too, okay? I know for me right now, I'm kind of in hermit mode, but it's only because I'm working my ass off. That's it. You know. So, but it's coming, okay? All right, you guys. I think I'm going to have to wrap this up. I hope this helped. Yeah, I mean, this whole dynamic, this story's been going on for a while. You know, it's been going on for a while. And it does make me sad, because there are some divine masculines that really need to step up to the plate and get out of this whatever situation they're in with this karmic, if that's who we're talking about. I guess that's it. I'm going to do all sign reads maybe by the new moon. I'll do something, okay? Oh, it's been busy, so I'm just trying to fit these in too. And, you know, I don't really have a big YouTube following, and that's fine. I'm not all about that anyway. It's cool. I just do it to help. And if you guys do watch the channel, thank you so much for supporting it. I appreciate you. Personal readings, again, all my info is down below. If you know someone and you haven't had a reading from me and it's a new client, send them my way. They get a $15 discount. Okay? All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.